Hi, this is Chef Rick, and today I'm going to show you how to make a tiramisu. So we start with half a cup of very strong coffee. I just used espresso there, and masala wine. I added loads more masala after that because I tasted it, and you couldn't taste any masala in it. So the proper amounts will be in the description. Separating eggs. So first one I'll sort of do in real time to show how I always separate eggs. It's a messy job, but you do it over the bowl that you're going to want the white in. I just crack it like that, pass it between my fingers, and sometimes there's a little bit of white that's kind of connected. See how I've pinched it there with my little finger, and then boop, pop it in the bowl. You should be able to handle it fairly easily. The rest of it I've sped up. There's bits of this video that's actually sped up and some at normal speed, and you'll see why. But yeah, so we separate the eggs. Again, take your time with them. It's a messy job. If you need to wash your hands, I like wash my hands in between each one just because you feel like you get a bit more kind of grip on the shell. You can do a little bit more. This bit I've done in real time. I didn't speed it up because I wanted to show. Basically, what I'm doing here is with a whisker on a high setting, obviously an electric whisk, I'm just whisking egg whites. And I'm going to do the whole process rather than speed it up, because if you've never done this before, I think sometimes you see people whisking an egg white and the next thing is done. You think, how long were they whisking it for? Have I not whisked mine long enough, or have I whisked it too long? So I don't know how long this is. I think it's like a minute. I'll try and talk over it, keep you entertained. But you can just see how quick it thickens up. Yeah, there we go, whisking it. Or working the whiskers round. The bottom of it is still, you sort of feel as you're doing it's a bit liquid. Keep working around clockwise like that. Ooh, and anti-clockwise like that. See, up and down, forward and back. Just keep whisking it. You'll see that now. I mean, it's certainly nowhere near like the consistency it was at the beginning. But when you're looking for, sometimes they say, soft peaks or stiff egg whites. So just take your time with it. Just keep whisking, keep whisking. With a recipe like this, you can't really overwork it. With something like an eggnog, you can totally overwork it and get it way too stiff. But with this one, I think we're coming up to nearly done here. This was probably about a minute. You tell me. Whisking. You can see now it's really holding together nice. It just looks nice as well. It's just one of those funny things in food that just looks really nice when you're doing it, and it feels like you've achieved something, although it's not exactly difficult, is it, to whisk. Do this with a manual whisk. It's going to take you forever. Lift it out, and that's your eggs done. They'll stay like that. If you've got people there, hold it over your head. Always funny. Now, the egg yolks. Just going to add the sugar. And then whisk again. Now this one I have sped up, or we'll cut to it in a second, because you need to do this for about 5 minutes. You see how nice and orange it starts off. First of all, they were good eggs. So they had a nice orange yolk, but after about 5 minutes of whisking them, and you see that I'm scraping in the sides as well, I want the whole thing to stay together. You whisk that for about 5 minutes, and it's going to go to that colour. Look at that, completely changed. And no matter sort of what eggs you use and sugar, once you've whisked them like that, they will go to that kind of colour. That's what you want. So you need about 5 minutes of whisking there. Of course, you didn't want to watch me whisk for 5 minutes. To that mixture, we add the mascarpone cream. This recipe is, you'll see in the description, it's 500 grams of mascarpone. That's basically two of those little pots. Again, in with the whisker, this time on a medium heat. You see there how I stuck it straight into the cream, stop it flying everywhere when I started. Watching this bit back, I was like, God, maybe I should have sped this one up as well. But my wife's like, no, it's therapeutic, so I'll leave it in there. But what we're doing is really just mixing around, making sure the edges are scraped off until it's one consistency. Right now you could probably see the lumpy bits of mascarpone in there, so you want that to really get to dead nice, dead smooth consistency. So that's the mascarpone cream in there, scraping down the sides. It's obviously keeps you a nice clean workspace, but it also means everything's getting in there. You don't want to waste anything up on the sides there. You want to make sure it's all nice and combined and in. So that's super smooth. Just looks nice. Obviously it smells nice. And the egg whites, which you whisked earlier on, you're now going to fold them in. So you'll see this often in recipes, and loads that I do and loads that you see online, fold in egg whites or fold in an ingredient. So the best way to do this is with a wooden spoon, a little bit of time, a little bit of patience. So I think again on this one, fast forward this one, I think we'll just do it at normal speed so you can just see the patience you need with it. You want to keep it light and fluffy and keep that air in there so it stays really lovely and light. Otherwise, if you could just mix it straight up with a whisk and it'd go to one consistency, but it'd be thick. You'd knock all the air out of it. So just by folding it in like that with a wooden spoon, so scraping around to the bottom, up and over the top, bringing in all the egg whites off the side. Just take your time with it. So yeah, wooden spoon. Fold it in. I don't know why a wooden spoon is best. They always recommend it. I've always used a wooden spoon. I think you just, don't know, I'm going to guess. But, so you just keep folding it in, going round from underneath and folding it in the top. As before, scraping in the sides, folding it all in. I won't say that again. I think in a second I'm going to tidy it up again, just kind of scraping in the sides, and then carry on using that wooden spoon, working round. You can see now that the bits of egg white, you can probably see there's still bits of the white, fluffy bits of egg white in there. Just keep mixing it, keep folding it in, scraping off the sides like that, getting it all together, keeping everything in one place. And it's just a big, light, fluffy mix, Dead smooth, really airy. Really simple as well. Just think of the ingredients in that. It's nothing really. It's the eggs, sugar, mascarpone. But if you just mixed all those together, it'd never be that big and fluffy. That's because of the whisked egg whites and the folding that we're doing right now. And I think it's probably worth doing it like that without speeding it up because, as I say, you can see how long it actually takes in real time. So if it takes you, 20 seconds, you've not been doing it long enough. If you're there half an hour later, you've gone way too far. Now, that's where it all gets very exciting. So you set yourself up a station. First of all, that one on the left is obviously what I'm going to be making a tiramisu. In the middle is my coffee and masala mixture, and these are the fingers. Two different types of fingers. These are the lady fingers. Do not get the trifle ones. But here's what's important to know here. Look how quick these are dunked in. 1, 2, 3, 2.5, 3 seconds. That is it. If you leave them to soak in there, they're just going to turn to mush. You do not want that. You literally need 2 or 3 seconds in. Dead quick. They will absorb. But I promise you, you'll thank me for that little tip. One side of them is sugar. The other side has got some writing on them. Put them all in, sugar side up. Probably doesn't make any difference whatsoever, but I do. It just keeps it nice and neat. You see here I had to do a little bit of a patchwork bit on the top just to create a nice even base. Nobody is going to give a monkeys if it's a bit broken when you serve it. You'll see this is probably the most delicious tiramisu I've ever eaten. Is it the prettiest? I don't know about that, but so you're going to line the bottom there with your first layer of the lady fingers. But you can see they're not soaked in water in the coffee there. So now with a metal spoon, we're going to add our first layer of the mascarpone cream. Spread that out nice and evenly. You'll make this you will not make this dish once, I promise you. You'll make it over and over, and you'll start to learn how much you want here. You could absolutely slather it on another massive thick layer, or you might want to just do a thin layer. It's how you like it. This is how I like it. And it's how all my guests like it as well. So put that layer of mascarpone, like the sweet mascarpone cream. Again, being a tiny bit of a perfection at this point, you probably don't need to be as fussy as I'm being. Now this is a layer of grated dark chocolate. This is breaking with tradition, but this is how I make mine. You do not need to add this if you don't like chocolate, or if you want to make it the ultra traditional way. This chocolate layer, this is as traditional as a tiramisu will ever get. But I always add that chocolate layer in there just because it's absolutely delicious. Just like before, you've seen me do this once already, but this is layer number 2. Little 3-second dip, and all placed the right way up, so the sugar layer is on the top. Like I said before, probably doesn't make any difference, but why not? Why not keep it nice and neat? I'm pushing these slightly into that chocolate. If you hadn't used the chocolate, you just push them slightly into the layer of the cream. Just like before, we're just going to work through. I become a bit, you as with any of these things, you just get so used to it. I become a bit of an expert at this by the time of making this one, so I'm cutting them off really nicely and making sure they're all the right length. A few last little bits just to fill in the gaps. Again, it's going to make no odds whatsoever when you slice into this. And now the final layer of that beautiful cream. Don't feel like you'll see in a minute. I don't know if you can tell on camera here, but I don't use all of it that I had in my bowl, because don't use it just because you've got it. Use the right amount that's going to cover the top. And really, you just want to sped it up again. See, you just want to get to a point where you've got a nice layer on the top. And just to be a gentleman, come on, neaten up the outside like that. You can keep washing your hands. Your fingers and hands are obviously an amazing tool in the kitchen. Don't be afraid to use them. Again, I'm just trying to make it a nice smooth layer. Yeah, right. I went on a bit much, but fine. This is just for neatness. We're now going to give it the cocoa dusting, so I've just put it onto a separate breadboard, just because my other breadboard, it's got like a groove in it, so I don't need cocoa getting caught in there. Cocoa, you see on the right there, into the sieve. I do that over a bowl because obviously it just falls straight through normally, unless you've got like a nice small cocoa duster. Now we're just going to dust the top all over. Don't want a stupid thick layer here, but it will sort of absorb into it, so don't really worry about it. But just make sure it's all nicely covered. Fill in all the gaps. Excuse me. Once again, just to keep it nice and lovely and neat. It's going to, if your presentation is everything, of course, just clean up the edge. It's only a little bit of cocoa powder on your finger. As always, you're going to be washing your hands constantly, so don't worry about it. Clean up the edge there. I think in a minute I'm going to move it off the that chopping board. Bit of that. Boom, look at that. Tiramisu into the fridge. Leave it overnight. Just trust me, this is the next day. Slice into it. And we're going to serve. And that's it. That's tiramisu. Again, the longer you leave it in the fridge, the better, because it just holds firmer. And I promise you, I could make you a really nice Instagram perfect portion size of it, but you put that down in front of somebody and they're going to absolutely have the time of their life. Click like and subscribe. Thank you very much for watching.